What up guys, and in this video I'm going to talk about what computer or 4K editing setup and all the specs and tech of the exact computer and laptop that you need to edit 4K in this day and age. So stay tuned. Hey there, and if you just stumbled across this video, my name is Peter and you're watching the channel called Broke Visionary Collective. I am a full-time video editor, contractor, freelancer, and I'm all about making videos. And so when it comes along the lines of having a great 4K camera, whether you have a Sony or a Canon or a Panasonic, capturing video content is one of the things. But another thing is you need a powerful workhorse or workstation to be able to handle that 4K footage. Because there's nothing, trust me, there's nothing more frustrating than capturing footage than having to edit and post with a slow ass computer. So here are my, I guess, 3 or 4 requirements when it comes to getting a new rig or laptop or buying yourself a workstation that best suits your needs. So when it comes to whether you're using Adobe or Final Cut, when it comes to videos, the most important thing is rendering and how fast your computer or laptop can render. And if you don't know what rendering is, essentially rendering is you're taking your timeline, your edited timeline, and compiling it into one video format. And this requires a lot of computer power. So if I had to pick and make a computer from scratch, one of the biggest important things, doesn't matter what computer, if you're a Mac, you're a PC, the most important thing is your processor. That is your, I'm not a computer geek myself, but from my experience, having a strong processor is the most crucial important thing. This will do the major workload for your rendering as well as your scrubbing through your timeline. So what I recommend is the top of the line, whether that's an i7, your 9th generation, going at 3.2 gigahertz overclock and all that stuff, your processor is your most important thing. And if you're a PC person like myself and you're running Adobe Premiere, you do not want to be using an i3, an i5, but especially you want to go for your i7s. And if you have the budget, consider getting a computer with an i9 with at least a 3.0 gigahertz speed and threads and all that stuff. The more cores, the better. And you can also get the AMD Ryzen Threadripper and the equivalent. So the first thing out of everything when it comes to computers and video editing computers is that you need a strong processor. This will allow you to scrub through timelines and render videos. And especially when it comes to having 4K footage at recording at 100 megabits, you need a strong processor. Let me emphasize that, a strong processor. That is the first thing you're looking out for. The second thing when it comes to getting a spec'd out laptop or PC workstation is your multitasking abilities. Because the reality is, if you're a full-time video editor or just any type of millennial in this day and age, you might have Spotify open, Facebook, you're looking at your notes off of your Google Docs to match your client's request, and you're also having your video editing software open, meaning you need to multitask. And when it comes to computers, I would recommend 16 gigs of RAM or random access memory to allow you to run your video editing software on top of doing your other tasks or listening to music or XYZ. That is the bare minimum, but for me, if you want at the top of the line of anything, I would recommend a 32 gig workstation. This will give you more than enough RAM to run your video editing as well as run other screens, and it just gives you the ability to, who knows, maybe you want to open up Photoshop in one screen and open up Premiere in other. You want to have After Effects and have dynamic links so you can work between Premiere and After Effects. 32 gigs of RAM is the most optimal for your video editing needs. And the third thing when it comes to looking at your video workstation is your graphics card. The graphics cards when it comes to video editing isn't the end-all be-all. You can get away with, let's say, a NVIDIA GTX 1050 because yes, there is a little bit of like pre-buffering or pre-rendering when you're scrolling through timeline that does use, if you use Adobe Premiere, you can use things like CUDA or OpenCL to have your graphics card help you with the scrubbing of your timeline. So having a decent graphics card does come a little bit of a long way, and it does boost your rendering time on top of your processor and helps up your processor to a little degree. If you're using things like 3D or using a lot of effects, definitely consider getting a decent top of the line, let's say NVIDIA RTX 2080. Those can get a little expensive, but yes, do look into a decent dedicated graphics card. None of that Intel HD graphics driver that's really cheap and you're not gonna be able to like watch a 4K movie. You want something that has top of the line that you can almost, you're almost the equivalent between getting a gaming laptop and a video editing. They're almost similar. So when it comes to getting your graphics card, think of along lines of a NVIDIA 2080 Ti or RTX and all those. You want to get something top of the line, so your 2000s or your 1080s. There's also the equivalent of, let's say, your Radeon XYZ. So you want something NVIDIA, Radeon, like it's all brand names, but you want a decent graphics card to help you, especially if you use like text animations, overlays, and video effects and you want to render cool animations. Definitely look into a graphics card. And those are essentially the three components that I myself look for when I'm buying a video editing workstation for myself, because you want to save time, and the more you invest in your computer gear and get the top of the line, you're saving time. Because I'm actually about to upgrade my PC within the next, let's say, 1 to 3 months, and those are the things that I'm looking for, so I want to give that value back to you guys so you know what I'm looking for. And when it comes to, let's say, this day and age, everyone's editing 4K and you need a powerful workstation. Those are the three things. But at the same time, if you're on your budget, those can get pricey. And if you guys want to know what the next video is, smash that thumbs up button and I'm going to tell you how you get away with editing 4K footage on a really crappy computer. And there's certain workarounds that you can do, especially if you use Adobe Premiere. So if you want to see that video, give me a thumbs up, let me know in the comments, and I'm gonna make that video for you guys and tell you how you edit 4K on a really crappy computer and how I've gotten away with it for my own clients, and how I've, with a decent computer, to still have decent output when it comes to super like 4K quality, but still you have an okay computer. So my name is Peter, and I hope that helps all you video editors, aspiring videographers, when it comes to having a decent workstation. Those are the things that you want to look for. Link in the description if you want to have my free guide, yes, free, when it comes to what kind of camera gear you need, as well. I talk a little bit about software and computers. And you're watching a Broke Visionary Collective, where we all start with nothing, but you can always create something. Cheers.